Hi, let me explain everything in the anti-LGBTQ law to you so you understand. First, understand that it is not yet a law. It has just been passed by Parliament, and for a bill to gain the identity as a law, it needs to be assented by the President, Article 106. So since His Excellency has not yet assented or given his blessings or approval to the bill, it's just a mere bill, not a law. Now let me explain the content in the bill to you. First, the actual name for the bill is not Anti-LGBTQ Plus Bill, but rather Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and the Ghanaian Family Bill 2021. All this bill does is to criminalize LGBTQ activities. I'm not really going into that because you already know. Now moving on to the section 1, that is the first part of this law. It talks of the application, that is the people this law applies to. It mentions that it applies to people who hold themselves as gays, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, trans. There's a lot. You can mention them. It's a whole lot. Not just these people, but persons who sponsor or fund their activities, persons who go in for surgery to change their gender to the other gender. And also it applies to same-sex marriage, that is the law applies to same-sex marriage, and also persons who have sexual intercourse with animals. Now moving on to the section 3, it imposes a duty on Ghanaians, and the duty on Ghanaians is to uphold the values of the law, and also imposes a special duty on the government, religious bodies and other organizations, that is to prevent LGBTQ+. Now section 4 of this speaks of undermining the law, that is it prevents it from undermining the law, that is doing things that would go against the anti-LGBTQ bill or the anti-LGBTQ law. One of the ways you can undermine a law is to refuse to abide or do things that would be in contravention to the law. Understand that in section 4, anyone that undermines the anti-LGBTQ plus law, I cannot really mention all the alphabet, but anti-LGBTQ plus law will be jailed for 4 months. We move to section 5. Section 5 also imposes another duty, that is the duty to report. Now with this duty to report, once you see a person committing such act or you hear of it, you have to report this matter to the police station. If you are not comfortable going to the police station, the law gives you that freedom to report it to a leader, a religious leader, your community leader. Just report it to your leader. Now the duty is now on the leader to within 7 days report it to the police for further investigations. Now we move to the almighty section 6. The almighty section 6 because that is where the main criminal offense comes in. It says that a person commits an offense and shall be jailed for 5 years if the person engages in the following. That is where it's mentioned that if the person engages in same-sex marriage, if the person has sexual intercourse with an animal, have sexual intercourse with the same gender, holds himself out as a gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, you can mention them. The person goes in for surgery to transform to a lady, that's from a man to a woman. I'm just trying to make this simple for you to understand. I don't want to speak in the legal language. Just take it as such. The section 6 basically mentions that anyone who engages in the LGBTQ activities, I've mentioned them already, will be jailed for 5 years. I'm just breaking the law down for you, so when you read it, you'd be able to understand or comprehend. Now with the section 7, the offender will be jailed for 3 years, and this is the offense: convincing a person to join the LGBTQ community, which is mostly found in the SHS schools, where people lure others into joining the LGBTQ community, and the person that lures gets paid from the boss. Something as simple as this. So the person lures another person and gets paid by the boss. So section 7 says that anyone who convinces another person into the community shall be jailed for 3 years. Section 8. Now section 8 also relates to the section 7. However, this time around is speaking of detaining a person. They are into same gender sexual intercourse. Now you see a guy passing in front of your house, you find him attractive, you invite him to come for water, you can mention it, and decide to detain him. You lock the door and have sexual intercourse with him. So this law is simply saying that anyone who detains another person with the intention to have sexual intercourse or to do the prohibited commits an offense and will be jailed for 5 years. Now section 9, very simple. If you operate a guest house, or far from this, if you operate a building specifically made for persons prohibited under this act, you would be jailed. And not just that, if you operate a business, a guest house, you have a house that you allow these people into your room to have sexual intercourse with themselves, is considered as an offense, and with this you would also be jailed. Fast forward to the 10. Now the 10 talks of gross indecency. Very funny. Cross-dressing. I don't know if I mentioned cross indecency, but it's gross. Gross. So now with the gross indecency, it speaks of cross-dressing, where you are not allowed to cross-dress with the intention to promote the prohibited act or with the intention to do that which has been prohibited. And not just that, this same gross indecency prevents people from showing love to themselves in public, that is publicly showing amorous relationship to each other or acting. Let me speak as a Ghanaian. So this provision is simply preventing a boy and a boy from behaving as boyfriend and girlfriend in public. This is very simple. This same section 12 makes it an offense to change public opinion to accepting LGBTQ plus. Let me frame something for you. God never mentioned that a man should have sexual intercourse with a lady. People that wrote this, what if they decided to call a lady a boy and decided, you get anything that you do to change the mind of others to accepting the LGBTQ plus notion is an offense, and you'll be jailed for 10 good years. Now, section 13 is prohibition of activities directed towards children. That is, you cannot share stuff to children, or you cannot post films, cartoons, animations, or certain materials that is targeted towards convincing children to explore or convincing children to understand that same-sex marriage or same-gender sexual intercourse are valid or are cool. So anything targeted towards changing the children's perspective on LGBTQ to accepting it or to evoke their hunger for it is an offense or considered as an offense under this bill. 14, very simple, it prevents sponsorship of funds for the prohibited act. You cannot come out publicly to state that through the prohibited, I'm going to give you 1,000 Ghana cedis, or you cannot sponsor a community, or you can't just fund anything LGBTQ. This video is breaking everything down, and that is why I'm just being simple. Now let's go to the section 15. That is the disbandment of all LGBTQ plus groups. Now there are LGBTQ plus groups in the community right now. There are NGOs for that. There are buildings for that. You can understand there are a whole lot of things set up for that. So once this law comes into power, it disbands all LGBTQ plus groups. And in the section 16, it prohibits the creation of such groups. If you attempt, you'll be jailed for 6 years. Section 17, LGBTQ plus genders cannot adopt a child in Ghana. If you are married to your gender, you are not allowed to adopt a child in Ghana. If you hold yourself as a gay, lesbian, you can mention it, you are not allowed to adopt a child in Ghana. That is if this law comes into existence. We move to the section 19. The section 19 gives protection to victims. Now, if you really followed this video, you'd understand I made reference to a part where you would lure others into the act, or you would invite someone to your house, you detain the person and you do the do. Yes. So with that, the victims, now these people are going to be protected because they weren't in control of their mind, or they did not have the power to resist. You lure them and detain them. So these people are going to be protected. They are not going to be in prison. They are not going to be punished. Section 20. But before we move to section 20, understand that these people would have to be compensated, and the compensation would now come from the extent of the damage and the medical bills. Section 20 finally feels so good to know that we are about ending this. However, my advice to you is, after watching this video, do well to read the document. This video only makes understanding of the bill very easy for you. Now, section 20. Section 20 simply talks of medical assistance. That's medical assistance shall be granted to the accused. That is, in as much as you hold yourself as a lesbian, gay, bisexual, you can mention them, you still have the right to medical aid. Finally and lastly, section 22. Now, in Ghanaian communities, when a gay or a lesbian is caught, what they do is they really inflict harm on the person. See, you are not going to be spared. They are really going to punish you. They are going to lash you, insult you. They are going to abuse you left, right, center, middle. Now, section 22 is saying that No Ghanaian has the right to punish any lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, you can mention them. No Ghanaian has the right to do that. Once you catch a person, your duty, as we earlier said, is to report the person to the police, and if you cannot do that, report the person to a leader, and the leader would have 7 days to report the person to the police. It looks like my energy has now come back. Anyways, that is what the law is saying on this, and this is simply the anti-LGBTQ plus breakdown. Now understand that, as I mentioned, the real name for this bill is, let me know in the comment section. I have a gift for the first person to answer. Well, if you answer and I don't give you the gift, you cannot sue me. I'll defend myself. But this is just a breakdown. You still need to go through the document, and I can give you the document. Just text me on Instagram. I'll give you the document. You go through. Once you are reading and listening to this video, you'll be able to understand the anti-LGBTQ bill. This video is just an explanation. Till we meet again, stay safe, and don't attempt going without subscribing to this channel. I have more for you. Subscribe to this channel. Kindly subscribe to this channel. Do well to share this to your friends. Till we meet again once again, stay safe. Can you give me water?